the sound of the breeze carrying us away. Dust in the rear view, free as a bird. This is our time, no matter what they say. Every mile behind only brought us here. Now the road is clear. Shotgun ride on my Friday night. Sunset fire burning in our eyes. Let's leave the past in the past and deal with it another day. All we got is this open road. No plans, just a cranked up radio. Ain't promising forever, ain't no end in sight. Girl, I'm loving the ride. You know I'm loving the ride. Oh yeah, loving the ride.
Hey friends, welcome back to Minor Details, the podcast where no detail is too minor because sometimes the smallest moments in life end up shaping us the most. I'm your host, Jess Minor, and today's episode is one that feels especially meaningful to me. March is International Women's Month. And if you didn't know, March 8th is actually International Women's Day, a time where people around the world pause to celebrate the strength, resilience, and impact of women. And when I started thinking about what I wanted this episode to be about, my mind kept coming back to something very personal: friendships between women. Because when I think about the women who have crossed paths with me throughout my life, friends, mentors, family members, coworkers, I realize that so many of those relationships have shaped who I am today. Some of those friendships brought joy and laughter. Some brought support during really difficult seasons. And some brought lessons. Lessons that I didn't fully understand until much later. But every one of them left an impact. So today, I want to talk about women, the beauty of female friendships, the complexity that can come with them, and the way those relationships can shape us into stronger, more self-aware people. One thing I've always admired about women is our ability to connect on a deeper emotional level. There's something incredibly powerful about the way women show up for each other. We celebrate each other's victories. We rally around each other during hard moments. We share stories, experiences, and emotions in ways that create real connection. Think about the moments when a woman in your life has truly shown up for you. Maybe it was a friend who checked in when you were going through something difficult. Maybe it was someone who celebrated your accomplishments like they were their own. Maybe it was simply someone who listened without judgment. Those moments matter more than we sometimes realize. Because when women support each other, something really beautiful happens. We remind each other of our strength. We remind each other that we're not alone. And we create spaces where people feel seen and understood. But as beautiful as friendships can be, they're also not always easy. And I think sometimes there's this unspoken expectation that female friendships are supposed to be perfect. But the truth is, like any relationship, they can be complicated. People grow, life changes, circumstances shift. Sometimes friendships drift apart naturally. Other times, misunderstandings happen. And sometimes relationships end in ways that feel confusing or painful. Those moments can be incredibly difficult because friendships between women often involve vulnerability. We open up about our lives, our dreams, our fears, our struggles. And when those connections change, it can feel like losing a piece of something important. One thing I realized over time is that when friendships change or end, it's okay to acknowledge that loss. We often talk about grieving romantic relationships, but we don't always talk about grieving friendships. And yet, those relationships can carry just as much emotional weight. Friendships hold memories, inside jokes, shared experiences, moments of growth. So when those relationships shift, it's natural to feel sadness or confusion. But something I've learned is that just because a friendship didn't last forever doesn't mean it wasn't meaningful. Some relationships are meant for certain seasons of our lives. And sometimes the role someone played in your life was exactly what you needed in that moment. One of the biggest lessons I've learned through friendship is accountability. And honestly, that hasn't always been the easiest lesson. Because when friendships change or conflict happens, it can be really tempting to only focus on what the other person did wrong. But real growth sometimes requires us to look inward, to reflect on how we showed up in that relationship. Did I communicate clearly? Did I listen with empathy? Was I showing the same level of support that I hoped to receive? Those questions can be uncomfortable, but they're also incredibly valuable. Because accountability isn't about blaming yourself for everything. It's about recognizing that relationships involve two people, two experiences, two perspectives, and two sets of emotions. And sometimes growth happens when we're willing to acknowledge our own role in things. Over the years, I've had moments where I've looked back at certain friendships and I realized there were things that I could have done differently. Moments where communication could have been clearer, moments where I could have listened better, moments where I could have approached something with more understanding. And those realizations weren't always easy, but they were important because those experiences helped me grow into someone who values communication, honesty, and accountability in relationships even more. And that actually brings me to today's minor detail. Over the past few years, I've spent a lot of time reflecting on the relationships in my life, especially friendships. And what I realized is that every friendship taught me something. Some friendships showed me what genuine support looks like. Some taught me about boundaries, some taught me about forgiveness, and some taught me about accountability. But all of them contributed to my growth. And one thing I know for sure is that those experiences didn't make me lose faith in women. If anything, they made me appreciate the resilience and strength that women carry even more. Because despite the challenges that can come with relationships, women are still some of the most incredible forces in the world. Women lead families. Women build communities. Women support dreams. Women rebuild their lives after hardship. Women show strength in ways that often go unseen. And when women choose encouragement over competition, the impact is powerful. When women uplift each other, incredible things happen. Confidence grows, dreams expand, communities strengthen, and that's something worth celebrating. So today, I also want to take a moment to express my gratitude for the women who do show up, the women who support others, the women who lead with kindness, the women who choose encouragement over criticism, the women who inspire growth, confidence, and strength in the people around them. Those women are making a difference in ways they may never fully realize. So today, in honor of International Women's Month, I just want to celebrate women. The women who stood beside me, the women who challenged me to grow, the women who inspired me, and even the women who unknowingly taught me some of the most valuable lessons in my life. Because every experience shaped who I am today, and for that, I'm grateful. And that's all I have for you guys today. Thanks so much for spending this time with me. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to share it with a woman who inspires you. And until next time, remember, no detail is too minor, especially when it's part of your story. Bye.